In our universe, there are objects, giant rocks, floating masses of space debris that travel through the vastness of space, sometimes crossing paths with our planet. Most of the time, these asteroids pass by unnoticed. But what if one of these objects were to suddenly change course, and instead of passing harmlessly by, it collided with Earth? Imagine the largest asteroid in our solar system, a colossal body named Ceres, coming for us. This isn't just a small rock. Ceres is about 590 miles, 940 kilometers, in diameter, making it not only the largest object in the asteroid belt, but also a reminder of the massive forces at play in the cosmos. The idea of an asteroid strike may seem like science fiction, but in the depths of space, there are forces and threats far beyond our control. And while the probability of such an event is incredibly low, the scale of devastation it would cause is unimaginable. What if this giant asteroid were to hit Earth? Astronomers, the vigilant sentinels of the sky, would first observe an unusual anomaly in the path of Ceres. Its trajectory would slowly become evident, and over time, the gravitational calculations would confirm what was once a distant possibility: an asteroid of unimaginable size heading directly toward Earth. If such an event were detected early, humanity would have some time to prepare. Perhaps it would be years before the asteroid reached our planet, giving us a window to assess, react, and maybe even try to deflect it. But even with advanced space telescopes, our technology has its limits. Ceres' immense size and speed would present serious challenges for any efforts to alter its course. As scientists monitor the asteroid's course, it would become clear that Ceres' collision with Earth is inevitable. The question becomes not if it will happen, but when and how we will respond. Would we attempt to send a spacecraft to divert it? Could we muster the resources and technology to prevent the end of our world? Or would humanity be faced with the terrifying knowledge that survival may not be possible? Ceres would strike with the force of an unimaginable explosion, releasing an amount of energy far beyond anything humanity has ever experienced. The asteroid would hit with the energy of billions of atomic bombs detonating simultaneously. The collision would vaporize entire regions of Earth, creating a monstrous crater miles wide. The shockwave from the impact would ripple across the planet, shaking the ground to its core, triggering earthquakes that would devastate cities and crumble mountains. Volcanoes would erupt across the globe, sending rivers of molten rock and ash into the atmosphere. Oceans would churn and rise, flooding coastal regions and displacing entire populations. What if this collision fractured our planet's very surface, leaving Earth barely recognizable as the home we once knew? In the first moments after impact, life as we know it would cease to exist. The cities we built, the civilizations we have created, would be turned into ruins. The Earth's atmosphere would be filled with a thick, choking cloud of dust and debris, blocking out the sun. The temperature would skyrocket, igniting wildfires that would spread uncontrollably, leaving nothing but ash in their wake. The atmosphere itself would become a toxic stew of chemicals, gases, and smoke, unbreathable for most life forms. As the planet is rocked by this violent transformation, the atmosphere would be rendered uninhabitable. The Earth would be enveloped in a perpetual twilight, as the debris and soot from the impact block out sunlight. The skies would be darkened for months, or even years, as the debris slowly settled. Without sunlight, the temperature would plummet in a phenomenon known as impact winter. Earth would enter an ice age almost overnight. Within days, The climate would shift so drastically that the ecosystems we rely on would collapse. Plants would die, animals would perish, and food chains would disintegrate. What if this sudden freeze, this dark, endless winter, was the beginning of the end for life on Earth as we know it? Survival would become a desperate battle. In this new world, resources would be scarce, cities would fall, and civilization would disintegrate. Without the energy of the sun to fuel agriculture, crops would fail and starvation would spread. Global infrastructure would collapse under the weight of the disaster, leaving nations unable to coordinate efforts to rebuild. The impact would not just cause physical destruction, it would send shockwaves through the very fabric of society. The loss of life would be staggering, and the survivors, scattered and isolated, would face a struggle unlike any in human history. What would become of the human race? Would we be able to preserve any of our civilization? Or would the asteroid mark the final chapter of humanity's existence on Earth? For years after the asteroid's impact, the Earth would remain in a state of turmoil. The damage to ecosystems would be beyond comprehension. Many species of plants and animals would be driven to extinction as the delicate balance of life on Earth was shattered. The atmosphere, thick with the remnants of the collision, would slowly begin to clear, but the damage would be irreversible. The oceans would be poisoned by the debris and chemicals from the impact. The climate would struggle to stabilize. It would take decades, perhaps even centuries, before Earth's climate could begin to recover, if it could recover at all. What if Earth never fully healed? Even in the best-case scenario, it would be a world vastly different from the one we knew. The ecosystems that supported human civilization would be gone. The remaining survivors would have to adapt to an environment harsh and inhospitable, facing extreme cold, limited resources, and the slow process of rebuilding their world from the ashes. Could humanity survive? Or would the world, left to its own devices, be a barren wasteland for millennia? The survivors of this catastrophe would have to rely on ingenuity, resourcefulness, and hope to endure in an uncertain, post-apocalyptic world. As years pass, the Earth may begin to warm once more, and the atmosphere might gradually recover. However, the path to recovery would be long and arduous. The ecosystems that once thrived on Earth would be slow to return in the rebuilding of society. If humanity survives, would take centuries, if not millennia. But there is hope. Life, as it has before, might begin anew. New species would evolve to fill the ecological niches left vacant by the asteroid's destructive force. The process of evolution would start from scratch, and over time, life could reestablish itself. Yet, it would never be the same. The landscape of Earth would be forever altered by the impact, a constant reminder of the fragility of our existence. What if the survivors, though scarred and shaken, could rebuild from this catastrophe? As time passed, humanity, or the remnants of it, would need to learn to live with the aftermath. There would be no going back to the way things were. New societies, perhaps with knowledge and technology passed down from the old world, might rise from the ashes. But even then, the memory of the impact would shape human civilization for generations to come. The consequences would be catastrophic beyond measure. The immediate destruction would be enough to wipe out entire civilizations, while the long-term effects could reshape the Earth for centuries to come. Humanity would face extinction, but the possibility of survival, though slim, would rest on the strength and resilience of those who remain. While the chance of such a disaster is extraordinarily low, it serves as a stark reminder of the forces that govern the universe. The Earth is not immune to cosmic events, and perhaps one day we will face a threat that we cannot escape.